here. So let's see, I guess I'll hand this off to you, Paul. Just before you do, we'll actually, before we do, I guess we should first, if anyone has any announcements they want to make, or things we need to know in the greater community.
I do have a brief announcement. Some of these, you may be in the know on this with, we have a good group here interested in lots of different things. So I never really knew about this show until a friend of mine in the club filled me in on this. So the AARL apparently helps sponsor, they call it Ham Exposition, and it's out in Marlborough, Mass. It's taking place August 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's I had no idea it was such an event. And if you Google up Ham Exposition, you can find it. I believe it is at the Best Western out there.
Oh, I know where that is.
Mission, but they have an extensive listing of programs that different members, people that, they solicit to come talk to them about a variety of topics. So on Saturday, at 12 p.m. Saturday of that weekend's presentations, one of our own NEVIC members, Lou Tramontosi, is presenting an hour-long talk, though it sounds like a short time to cover a big subject, the history of vacuum tube radio from, early, diode detectors up into the TRF phase and into the superhet world. And apparently he's restored specifically for this program, this talk he'll be giving some very nifty and unusual Atwater Kent stuff. So I guess he has an Atwater Kent horn speaker he just finished restoring that he's very keen on showing everybody. So, I mean, there's other stuff out there as well if anybody has any interest. And I guess they kick it off on Friday and wind it up on that Sunday. So
and at 4 o'clock, Tom, your very own Tom Perera is giving a different talk on spy radios.
Well, can you imagine?
Is that right? On Saturday?
Isn't that a small world?
I had to add a few new radios, and I'm going to get into Civil War stuff and World War I spy stuff because I already did spy radios there last year. I guess it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I do highly recommend that you stop by. The flea market is world class. Really nice flea market, and if it's convenient for you, it's right off 495, and it's a very nice venue. The flea market is pretty much nothing on Friday and nothing on Sunday, but if you get there on Saturday, it's a pretty good flea market.
Well, that's really good. Is there a
so we have 2 stars who'll be presenting out there, so it's make it worth the ride.
I'm gonna have to find a way to get over there because I'm not that far. I have to see if I can scare up some time and go see our renowned Dr. Perera and Lou.
So depending on how things go, and I'll approach him if he would like to give some version of his chat to the group. I'll ask Lou if he'd like to join us some night.
Yeah,
he's a longtime Raytheon engineer. He's an interesting guy, and I have to tell you, he's got radio like you wouldn't believe at his house. So he's recently retired, and in the he's in the process of trying to get organized, shall we say. So but he's got some great stuff, and he really is into restoration of televisions, of which he has several very interesting ones over there, and is the best light up Raytheon tube display I've ever seen. So sitting on his dining room table. So
wow,
I just have him on to show us that would be, exciting.
Yeah, I think he needs to reel him in there, Paul.
Well, we'll see what we can do. He does come to a lot of our regular swaps, though I haven't seen him lately, but I think that has something to do with the fact he can't say no. He finds too many things, and he's trying to move a few things along. So anyway, you get a twofer out there, Tom and Lou. So we'll have to put that on the list.
I got to put that on the calendar, see if I can get over there, because I think that's like a fun time.
Yeah, the admission is reasonable, and it seems very well organized. That venue, I think, was on the list, the early list for our home for radio, possible, where we had to get out of Nashua, the Marriott, until we found the new option up in Windham, New Hampshire.
Right. The
It's
old
a nice
Mass-
place, I guess. It's very nice.
Yeah, I've been there before. We've had events. Geez, I used to work for Raytheon. I think we had an event there, Christmas parties there. So I've been there. That was my first job out of college. So I know that bell well. I used to live in Marlboro back in the day, but I know I live about 20 minutes away. So I
Yeah,
guess
it's not too bad.
if I have filling my schedule, I'd be embarrassed. I have no excuse not to show up. But excellent. Well, hey, that's a great announcement. Paul, I don't know if you have a link to that, but if someone could drop something off the
Yeah, I can.
collector,
I'll pop something in the Nevic chat.
add a little few 2 cents for our 2 members there, just so people are aware that we've got some club input here. Being stars of the show.
If you're interested in the URL, it's ham x with just an x position, just like position, .org.
Oh, okay. mxposition.org. Okay. I'll remember that. All right. Well, thanks for that, Paul. That's great.
All right.
And I think before we start the photo, I think Rob had some stuff to show, and maybe we'll have Tom jump in front and after Rob to give us a little more taste of Friedrichshafen. So, hey, Rob, why don't I let you hand up to you for a little kickoff of our meeting here.
Do I click share screen?
Oh, sorry. Let me enable that. I apologize. Pilot error on my part. You're good to go.
What is this doing?
Thank you, Paul. If anyone check the chat window, Paul dropped the URL in there.
Or a quick Google search will get you there. Just easy to find.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So is my screen being shared?
Not yet.
Well, that's weird. What do I do?
You try it again, because there was a period where I had to enable the screen sharing. I had it disabled when you first attempted. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Well, John, a couple meetings ago, you mentioned the Arizona Antique Radio Club, and I did make it to that meeting. And I just bringing up what I bought. This is just a. Here, let me put that on pause. Oops. Anyways, they auctioned this one off, and I got it for $5. It was just a good deal.
All right.
$5.
$5. Yeah. And get this, it works. I didn't do any. I just plugged it in and tried it, and it worked.
Well, it looks pretty tidy in there.
Yeah, it's battery operated. It has a couple 1T4s, 1R5, 3V4, and a 1U5. So nice tubes. So out there. This was a big thing that I got in the auction, and I think it went reasonably cheap because it's so big. I mean, this thing is just big. It's a HMV 149 from around 1938 from the United Kingdom. And it has a motor where you can press these buttons and the motor will tune it for you.
Wow.
It's just a cool looking radio. That's why I got it. And my wife was right with me. And she's saying, don't. So I bid and somebody outbids me. She's saying, good. I outbid them and I got it.
Look at you.
Anyway,
That is cool.
Oh, it is kind of cool.
Got a tuning eye in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it has everything. I'm not sure how to. Well, come on now.
Hey, Rob, was this the recent August show?
Yeah.
Son of a gun. I was in town.
Oh,
I went there. So I must not have run into you.
well, you did go or you didn't? No,
I did go. I
you
went.
did.
I got there around 9 o'clock.
Well, see, I was coming from Prescott. I got there late.
That's funny. I was only there for about 45 minutes. It was a quick drop.
I was thinking, I wonder if he's gonna be here or not. That would have been cool.
That would have been
Can you
funny.
can you tell by looking at it, or if you've been inside, whether those buttons act mechanically or electrically on the motor tuning?
I really haven't been inside of it. Just took some pictures. I could have probably electronic, because this looks like a switch, you know?
Yeah.
Ah, how
Yeah,
interesting.
it's 220 volt. So, and it doesn't have a tap on the transformer, so I'll just get another transformer to step it up.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And look at the dial.
Look at that.
Yeah, but look it up here.
That's fine.
It's Havana, Boston, Buenos Aires, Prague, Moscow, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. It's kind of cool, you know. And I think
Yeah.
that's what the gram is. I think that's, you know, your pre-programmed, because they have long wave, which is like 149 kilohertz to 382 kilohertz, but the dial is all in wavelength. And then medium wave is 535 kilohertz. That'll be our broadcast band, pretty close.
Right.
Shortwave 1 is 3 plus megahertz to 9 plus megahertz, and shortwave 2 is 10 megahertz to 23 megahertz. Just kind of cool.
It is. How interesting.
Yeah, I can hardly wait to get it going.
Yeah.
This is the badge on the top. And this, I saw this in the paperwork there. It says, do not forget to earth the pickup lead screening. I just think that's a great way of saying grounded, but do not forget to earth the pickup lead. And this is it's the Gramophone Company Limited, Mayors, maybe Middlesex. It's all smeared at the end. But it's going to be kind of difficult to get the cabinet in shape and leave this on there. So I thought maybe I would just tape around it. If I refinish the rest of the cabinet and just leave that as its original.
Yeah, you can't lose that.
Yeah, I know, that's just too cool.
That is fun.
Oh, and also a couple meetings ago, I mentioned my Zenith digital clock that was running fast.
Yep.
And yeah, well, I never saw anything on the power lines, but I found something interesting. Open it up and look at the clock chip. It's an LM8560, and according to the this is a spec sheet, and it just says the 50 hertz, 60 hertz selective input. If it's connected to VSS, 50 hertz is in use, and when the input is left open, VDD is activated, and the internal pull down, setting it to 60 hertz. So I put a scope on that input that's supposed to be pulled down, and there were digital bursts every now and then, just randomly, digital bursts.
Ah,
So I put a jumper between there and VDD, and it's still fast, but not bad at all. In fact, it's kind of fluctuating. It's gone from 4 seconds a day to 2 seconds a day to 12 seconds a day, and today it was -1. So it was actually slow by a second. So I think the deviation I'm seeing now is just the solar system. But I just thought I'd bring that up to anybody. If you have a digital clock that's acting really goofy, that just ground that pin.
interesting. Nice tidbit.
So that's really all I had. Just,
Well, that's great, Rob. Those are some great finds you got. You know, it's very possible I have a picture of that RCA. I can't remember. I did take photos. I'm not sure I'll have time to show those photos during this meeting. But because I have the one from the April meeting, because I was out there as well.
It was really strange is that on the IO group for antique radios, Facebook IO group, I joined that some time ago, and some guy said he was looking for a schematic for an RCA. And you know, somebody sent him to Sam's Photo Fact. I didn't think too much of it. And then when I came home with this thing, I said, wait a minute. Sure enough, that guy I now have a Sam's Photo Fact for it.
Oh,
Just a weird
perfect.
coincidence, isn't it? Somebody else was looking for a schematic and I end up with it.
That's funny.
Okay, well, that's about it. So what do I do here? Do I have
No,
to
I
share?
can take it up for you.
Okay,
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. That was great.
cool.
I'd be real interested when you dig into that set to see what the tuning, how the tuning stuff works.
Okay,
That's fascinating.
I'll take pictures. Yeah. Cool.
That was great. All right, Tom, would you be up for giving us another 10 or 15-minute slot of Friedrichshafen's goodies?
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Can you see that guy all right?
Sure can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just going to go through these things fairly quickly, and I'll try and keep it down to 5 minutes or whatever you like. That looks good. Philips TV, $250. It's amazing. You can't get $10 for a set like that in America. I don't know whether the guy was just dreaming or whether he actually was able to sell it for that. I was never really able to find out, but it's a cute little set. I couldn't find the maker on this one, so I'll just show it to you and skip along. This is a beautiful Siemens. Like the design very much on that.
Beautiful.
160 bucks. Usually these things work. It looks like they have slider volume control and on the right rather than knobs. Kind of an interesting design. And I suppose it's possible that that thing in the middle is for a cassette or a DVD or a CD or something or other. Kind of hard to tell what that slot was for. One of the fun things about walking around this show is trying to figure out what you're looking at.
Yeah, sure.
Another TV set that's interesting, and tubes. Oh man, just tons and tons of tubes, mostly foreign tubes for foreign sets, and nice to be able to pick through them. Very reasonably priced.
I should have asked you to bring back an EM85 for me.
Yeah, no problem. Just give me a list for next year.
There you
Wonderful
go.
to see these little things peeking out from underneath covers here. This one in back, it says it has been restored, and I can't quite tell. Looks like as Schaus.
Shao. There might be a Shao because
Shao.
there used to be a Shao. It joined another company, had a hyphenated name. I can't think of the name offhand. So maybe that's pre before it joined. It was it'll come to me later. How neat. That's actually like a portable. Very nice. Nice condition.
Yeah. A lot of test equipment like this thing. I won't bother you with that stuff, but look at this baby.
Ooh.
How would you like to have that in your collection?
Is it
It
like a
looks to
Russian?
me like it is a, what do we got up here? SNE or something like that. Look at that upper band is Grande Ondes, which I think is big frequencies or big cities. And down below it is Petite Ondes, maybe little cities. And you notice that instead of tuning frequencies, although you can see them up here, you also have the towns. Paris is down there, and London, all kinds, Lille, France. And then you're going down to the next 3 horizontal dial positions here, and it's Onde Coutts and band Ital. I think this is an Italian band, but I'm not sure. And band Ital 50, whatever that is. Anyway, you could have an awful good time playing with this set, even if you couldn't speak the language. It's just so neat.
And look at the way you make this the band switch with that like knob or something. That's really neat.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's fabulous, right? You slide that thing back and forth and get the different bands. Let's see if they're labeled down there.
Who makes this? I mean, what country this originates?
That's France. That's SNR. I forgot what it stands for, but the bands you're looking at there, when they say Petite Ondes, that's short waves. Grandes Ondes is long waves naturally. So that would be like 2,000 meters to 500 just below the broadcast bands. I have the Russian version of that. I think Bruce has one too.
That's what I thought, 'cause it looked Russian, because it looked very familiar.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, but it didn't have the Cyrillic, so I thought, huh.
So
Yeah,
maybe
he-
the next one will look familiar. Whoops, not this guy, but that's a cute little set. And this one, this really is a lovely set. Amplix.
I've never seen one of these before. Amplix.
So John, you gotta come over here next year. There's no question about it. This show is
looks like fun.
unbelievable. What do you think these things, PO and GO and B and OC for the dials up there? I just think it's so much fun to look at a set like this and wonder about it. Down here, it looks like it says Capri in the lower left
Yeah,
there.
it does.
Let's see if it says where it was made. Amplix Radio, I think is all it says.
I'll have to do a bit of research on that. How interesting. The dial face is really unusual.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's
I
a
know what
nice small set. I mean, you could bring it home on the airplane, unlike some of the sets.
Yeah,
So that was a lot of fun to see that guy.
that's cool.
And let's see what we have coming up here. This one is just magnificent. I'm not sure I was able to get a brand off it, the dial. My hands are shaky and I'm trying to take pictures with a camera, and so I don't think I
Did a nice
can
job.
get-
I think it might be in this, in the dial face in the lower right-hand corner. Shabler, and thank you.
Oh,
Paul,
down
by the
there?
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if that's, and I don't know what that, not jumping at me. I don't think that's telephone.
see if I can't quite make it out, but
Yeah.
that does look like the logo, doesn't it? Yeah.
It would look like, but I can't tell. It's too blurry for me to, but still neat. It's not something I've typically seen, although it does seem to have a certain Germanic look, Teutonic look about it, at least the
Yeah,
dial.
isn't that a great cabinet? This guy had all of the last two radios. You can see on the left there on his table, and this one was just almost irresistible. It was so unusual. So anyway,
Tom,
Yeah,
was
yes.
that one wood or is that a
no,
Bakelite?
I think that's some kind of a Bakelite.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
don't
think it is.
believe it's wood. Let me
What a beautiful
tell you
cabinet.
close
Almost
look.
American looking in its own way.
I guess it could be wood. It does look as though it could be.
hard to say.
Yeah. The corners, I guess they could have done all that fancy stuff over there in wood. Yeah. Good
Possibly.
question. I'll ask the guy next year. That chance that will be there.
Probably true. You're right there. That looks familiar.
Cute little guy, the lips on top and the, let's see what that is. I don't think I can read the,
Is that an Emerson or RCA? Something.
That's Emerson.
That's what I thought. Thank you, Howard. Nice seeing you, by the way.
okay.
Nice seeing everybody.
And a lot of smaller sets, very reasonably priced, and a lot of things I haven't
Oh,
seen
interesting.
before.
Yeah, ditto. I just have recognized some of these lower sets. Like that might be a Nordmenda sitting in the lower right corner of the tan one. The portable
Yeah.
that might be. And the other one's not so sure. It
That
can't
little
tell if it's a
gray
Grundig-
thing up there is weird.
Yeah. The grayish blue portable might be a Grundig, but I'm not sure. Is that a Schauble?
I
But
don't
anyway,
know if
yeah,
I
some neat
can-
stuff.
Yeah, what does it say there?
This thing,
Capiche? What is that?
capiche, capiche? Oh, now I don't recognize. Oh, wait. There's the, trying to read the writing on that. It's not what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, that's for sure. I thought it was German. If it is German, it's not a model or brand I've seen very often.
What's
Cool
in the upper
stuff.
right hand? What's in the upper right hand corner of that radio you just went by? Isn't the name up there?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that, the capsh.
Capiche.
I can't. Yeah, something like that.
Could be Russian or something. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Everything shows up at this show. This one is a Lucifer. What does it say there?
It's the Devil's Radio.
Yeah. LU something.
Yeah, I don't know. These are
Luciano.
Luciano. Wow, nice.
like a-
Luciano, of
Oh,
course.
I don't know. It's what it looks like. Could be Italian.
yeah, it could well be. We're seeing things we never see in these shores very often. Oh, I may be
I'm
proven
sorry, I
wrong.
messed this one up by shaking. I can't read anything on it.
That
Yeah.
also looks like a caption.
Yeah, I actually may be proved wrong. It looks just like a Nordmenda design, but who knows if there was some agreement or just copied it or just coincidence.
Yeah. A bunch of
Golf, Euro, golf. Wow. Don't see these very often.
Golf 200, Golf Euro. Is that a fairly, got to be a recent set, yeah.
Yeah, these
don't
are like, late 60s, early 70s stuff. And the fact that one's probably even a little bit newer than that.
This looks like it says Lorenz on it.
Schaub Lorenz, yep. Schaub,
Yeah.
which was I think that's Paul had actually stuck that in the chat window. That's what I was thinking of. Schaub did merge with Lorenz. I think they were separate manufacturers and
Okay.
by the late 50s, 60s. But
This is, looks like an American military set, but when you start reading, the writing is in French, so maybe it was made for use in France, but I believe it's an American World War II radio set. Looks fairly familiar.
Oh, interesting.
And here's a nice Phillips. I don't think I've seen this one before. Have you, John?
I have not.
Yeah.
This one looks to be. It's a weird looking one because the shape almost thinks it's post World War II, but at least the
Yeah.
design, but the that's
Looks like maybe there are volume controls on the right side there.
Yeah.
This thing looks like a band switch in the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Maybe it pulls different bands, pieces of paper in back of this.
Right.
P and S, whatever that means.
Boy, if that doesn't look like a vintage guitar amplifier, like an old Fender or something, I
That
don't
could
know
be.
what does.
That could be.
No, it just looks like one.
Yeah. I hate it when they don't label these things. It could be a home brew for all I know. Someone got a nice box and put a tile on it. It's a lovely old, I think it's a Braun. Let's see what it says on the dial there. Gloria.
Just seeing stuff we never see.
And that one's a Siemens. in
Siemens,
back.
that's Siemens. That looks recognizable.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, the really neat stuff.
So can I go on for another minute or two?
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
I've
Absolutely,
doubled
Tom.
the amount of time, so
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. No, we slide you in, you give us a little taste. It's always fun.
This is a Mende in back,
Mende,
not
yep.
a Lord Mende, but a Mende.
Well, that they ultimately, there was some, as I recall, some form of a merger and became ultimately Nordmenda, but Menda was predated. So this is probably clearly pre-World War II. I forget what year they merged, but yeah, that's familiar looking. Oh, no, Siemens.
A Siemens, yeah. So that's a Mende and a Siemens.
Yeah, very familiar looking brand.
Oops, back. And this is the typical RFT. A lot of those were used on U-boats as morale radios. A great many of them show up at this show. This is what is it here?
That's a telephone. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that one
Really
looks clear.
Nice looking Telefunken. And let's see. Go on to this guy. This didn't seem to have any name on it, but it's one of those fabulous sets that has the tubes sticking out of the top of it. And they bring incredible amounts of money in the Parisian antique stores. they put some of the colored tubes in those sockets. There are 4 sockets up there, and they have these colored tubes sticking out the top, and people get a fortune for them, couple of $1,000. This one is real cheap, and it would probably go for a lot more if it had the tubes. Yeah, certainly.
It's also got a broken front panel right down the center, underneath
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Oh, nice
Yeah,
spotting.
Good
Wow.
That's why, because I could see that video going for $800-900 easy.
Wow.
Nice spotting. I probably wouldn't have even noticed that.
Oh, I've been buying these things for decades.
This is a really interesting set. This is the classic German backpack walkie-talkie, the equivalent of the American walkie-talkie. It's
Wow.
called Feldfu, or Field Funk, or Field Radio. And this one looks like it's been through World War II and then some. If you look
Wow.
down here, you can see there's a plug for the microphone, and the Fernhearer, which is the earphones. Two jacks for the earphones and 1 jack for the microphone. And up here are the channel selectors. You use the right and the left channel selector. And if you look right in there, you can see a little round hole where you can see the channel marks are on that thumbnail. So this thing is pretty beat up. It's a classic World War II, and they are not very expensive. You can get yourself one of these for typically about $100. There are a lot of them around, and it's a really interesting piece of German World War II history.
How cool. I love it. I've never seen one before.
Yeah. Let's see, here we go. Nothing much there. A few American telegraph key and a Swiss, an Italian register, and some interesting tubes. Geissler tubes are very popular there. Mark, we got a steam engine for you in the back there. Looks a little weeny compared to your stuff, but they get a reasonable amount of money for them nowadays. I'm sorry, this was an X-ray tube. You got the high voltage, and then it bounces off that little angle and shoots the X-ray into somebody and gives them cancer. Over on the left, you can buy some crystals for your crystal radio, and down in front of that is a crystal radio. Beautiful little set. I don't know who made it. This guy is an Italian collector who has a book out that is absolutely incredible on early radio equipment. Let's see if we have anything else from him. Another crystal detector, and we move on to books. So let's call it quits for that. And I hate to tell you, but I got another couple of 100 pictures of the show, and I think they're darn interesting.
They are. No, now Tom, I like it. It's give you a slide until you. If
you get really bored, send me an email and I'll stop and desist. But if you enjoy this stuff, I'll keep at it a little bit each time.
No, that's fun. I like this. We give you 10-15 minutes. We get to see some neat stuff in 6,000 mile. Well, whatever. 3,000.
Very interesting. Seldom seen.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's on to the main part of the show, where I will show some slides from the April Arizona Antique Radio show. I happened to be out there at the time, and actually I am a member because I felt badly. I should be, if I'm going to show up, I'll be a member, even though I do very little other than show up. But it is a little bit of information about the club as far as I'm aware. More information I heard is I think their rough membership is around, I'll say roughly 100. Although I think they admitted that the number of paid members is under 100. So maybe it's only 70 or 80. And I think annual dues is somewhere around $20 a year. So it's, and from the events I've seen, at least, I've been to, there's no charge at the door. Basically, I imagine the vendors have to pay something. I don't know, actually. how they arrange it. I didn't ask anybody, but there's no entrance fee, so you just show up and you know, obviously because of their size, they're, you know, proportionally smaller, so the number of tables and so forth is smaller. But still, they, you know, they just have a presence, you know, in the area, and I think they do some events in Tucson occasionally. I think once a year or so. That brings in more interested parties in Tucson. So that, I think the show's a little bit bigger. I've never been to it, but I think they do it at a hotel. But anyway, I'll just show some stuff that you get to see there, just to see, you know, everyone gets to see a sample of what other clubs are doing. And also you might see some radios maybe more from the West Coast, left side of the country, you know, maybe more from the West Coast side of origin. Let me share my.
John,
Yeah.
John, was this recent that you took
Yeah.
these pictures?
Yeah,
I
this
thought
picture,
it was incredibly hot in Arizona. How do they get people to come to a show in middle of summer?
well, the April show was outside because it was still nice. It's still, you know, very comfortable where the highs may be in the, you know, around 90, low 90s at that point. The August show that I was able to make, that Rob attended and showed what he brought back, that they were all indoors because, yeah, at that point it's, you know, you're in the 100, 10, that I think during those days it was in around 105, 106 the high. So considering the weather we're having out here at the time, it was only a little bit hotter with a little bit less humidity. It was probably almost a wash, you know. Maybe it just felt maybe a little hotter out there. It's this time of year in Phoenix, you get the monsoon, so the humidity does come up more than you would in the winter and the spring. So you might have 40-45% humidity, whereas here we're probably in the same temperatures, probably seeing 70-80, you know, 70% for sure. So on balance, when we were having what, 90, 95, 100 degrees here, 105 there, it was probably almost a wash. But yeah, so let me see. I just got to get where's my bear with me a moment here. I think I didn't bring and close the window, and let me just bring that up, and here we go. Have to bring up the. All right. I inadvertently closed the window when I was. That looks better. So let me share my screen. How's that? Can people see that?
There you go.
All right. Starting up, this lead up is a German radio. It is a Telefunken Jubilata 105. So this is from this is one of their last some of their last tube radios. And I had probably a mixture of some, you know, solid state in there as well. But this is probably around, I don't know, 67 or so, 68 was one of the last, you know, tube radios that they made. But this was a nice condition. It was a nice radio. I just don't, you know, I resisted. But at any rate, so here's a little bit more interesting things here, and also some people can probably help identify some of these.
Coming towards an airline teledial of some type.
Yeah, I think that's
MW inverted in the dial there.
yes.
Montgomery Ward. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice. That was I thought rather attractive little, you know, telephone dials.
Like a late 30s craze, those push button phone dials.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of neat.
Case is in nice shape.
Yeah, I thought
That's
certainly
original and nice.
look more than restorable. Everything looked to be there. All the knobs, all the trim seemed to be there. It looked like a pretty solid, you know, radio that would make a really nice looking radio after you know, done the restoration. I forgot how much they were asking. I think the picture captured the tag is below the photo, but yeah, nice radio. And here we have, what is this?
True tone.
True, thank you. It's right in front of me. Yeah, this was a nice little unit. Nice condition, looks to be all there. More than reasonable.
Kind of a unique case.
Yeah, it is a bit unusual. Look, it was almost grafted on, you know, it almost looked like it wants to end here, you know, where my cursor is.
Philco?
Another True Tone?
No, it's a Philco.
Oh, Philco, thank you. I was looking for the Philco, you know, something that identified as such. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it should have a decal between the knobs. It should say Philco Transit Tone, but it's like the decal is missing.
Ah, there we go.
Greg, is that yellow original or did somebody touch that up?
I think somebody touched it up. It usually was white,
Yeah.
white or a real pale yellow, like a cream color.
Like a cream, yeah.
Let's see, good catch. Good catch. A little bit of, let's say, artistic license. And the Motorola. There were quite a number of Motorola's missing its knobs, however, but otherwise, cosmetically, doesn't seem to be in too bad a shape. Motorola, there are lots of Motorola's here.
Mm.
It's kind of neat, a little portable.
That's the one that has the antenna built in the handle, so you
Yeah.
rotate the handle. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty nifty.
Fun color.
Yeah, they had a number there, at least as I recall. There's a little Stuart Warner. Kind of fun in its own way. I know what's going on at that top there, though. I know it's dirt or what's going on there. But still a little bit unusual in its own way. Silver tone. Little portable transistor, actually in pretty reasonable shape. Case and all looks to be pretty nice. You know, transistor portable. So it's pretty nifty. And another Motorola, like I said, there are plenty of these little, like, nice little, like, clamshell style cover.
Very 50s.
Yeah, exactly. This I thought was unusual. It's Emerson.
Emerson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Emerson mantle type radio. It probably has looks like a line resistance cord for David Crew, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Curtain burner. Yeah, I thought there was a nifty cabinet design. I thought it was truly unusual. I can't say for sure what's the original, but it was asking $100 according to the masking tape. Certainly unusual. You know, I mean, you know, it looks to me like it was restored, but can't really tell for sure. I liked it though.
With that cord, I would say it wasn't electronically restored, but
Yeah, right.
but obviously they did a good job with the cabinet anyway.
Yeah,
Emerson's from that vintage, for whatever reason, the Bakelite cabinets held up very nicely.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, for all I know, maybe that is original, but maybe it is original electronics and all. But a very handsome set. Here's another little Emerson. Pretty nifty little set.
That's another unique one, huh?
Yeah, this is what's that? Is the logo right there. The name doesn't jump at me. Someone probably knows this.
That's supposed to be a cadet, but I don't, that logo does not look like what it's supposed to be. I
think it's like, I assume it's an I, C-R, with an I. Yeah, I don't know.
Continental Radio, but originally I believe I have the owner's manual for that. That's a cadet, to my knowledge.
Interesting.
Interesting. Nice looking cabinet as well. You know, aesthetically.
Maybe a
Great.
cadet rebranded for a department store or something.
Could be.
Yeah, it's one of the first ones I've seen, so it was certainly worth a Photoshop. What were they asking for this? 75. Well, you know, it's hard to say. But
Very unique openings for the grill cloth. It has kind of like looks like a Casbah type look or something.
yeah,
Like
I
a
thought it was unusual. One of the
Middle
first.
East floor.
One of the first few I've seen, so certainly was photo worthy. Not, of course, it's one of these popular
Crosley.
Crosleys.
Yeah.
See many a time. I think one of the more popular radios you see almost invariably, almost at every show, but 25 bucks. Not reasonably priced. I mean, everything looks there, and the cabinet looks so in nice shape. I mean, a good cleaning would go a long way on this. But it looked to me like a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah.
It's a Philco. Another $25 radio. Scroll cloth looks new.
Maybe that's the $25 table.
Yeah. This one maybe, you know, I mean, the cabinet is in nice shape.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem ridiculous price-wise. What do we have here? This is a...
Reproduction.
Oh, you're right. I see the FM band. Ta-da. You made the call. Good call.
Yeah.
Those are popular though. A lot of people
Oh,
say
yeah.
for repro, those are pretty decent sounding sets.
That was one of the better ones, yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard that. They're one of the more popular ones around. Yeah. I forgot who made that, but let's see if I can get a close up. This is GE. That's right. It's GE.
I mean, most
Is it,
repros
is it,
aren't made
is
by
it tube or
companies.
solid state?
Well, it's
Solid
a
state.
solid state.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, it's too bad. But, you know, yeah, I mean, they looked the part. And this one did a pretty respectful job.
I don't know if that one had the cassette player on the side.
Probably, this is
Some of
$35. That's what which, you know, chances are it works. I mean, other than if it's a cassette deck, it's 50-50 whether it works. Cassette,
Right.
you know, but I could eat $35 with a broken cassette deck would still be not a ridiculous price. That'd be pretty reasonable. It's a brand new one. I think one's a really nice shape. Will I think it command like, you know, not far from the $100 side of things, believe it or not. Probably have seen on eBay if said they can make it. What do we have here? An Air King. All right. Yeah.
A long way from home. They made those in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's right. And you know, that's funny. Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of transplants out here, you know, out in the
I
Phoenix
don't know
area.
about that case though. I don't know that they painted them in avocado.
Yeah, it
but
kind of looks like
maybe it's
latex.
like a guacamole thing.
Yeah, that was painted a long time. You can tell this is a vintage job. You can see all the cracks from the Arizona heat. You know, just completely wrecking that paint. But yeah, it's a pretty putrid color. $75 no less, which I think is kind of a little high.
Yeah.
Maybe that was an Earl Shy paint job.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a nice RCA Victor.
Those go for some money.
Nice thing you said. This one's in pretty nice shape. Yeah, it's got some nicks, but not awful stuff. I
Hey,
like-
John, can you read that? Can you see that? I mean, is that a mirror image when I hold that up?
Oh yeah, let me hold on. Let me just switch. Let me stop sharing to have a peek because I can barely see yours. I'll stop sharing. I'll just resume in a moment. And why don't you let me give you a speaker view. Oh yeah, Howard, that
Okay,
looks
so
just like it.
That's the cadet. I can't see the logo in the middle. It might be what that guy actually had. I'd have to look closer. Mine is the Beetle version, but it doesn't have that.
Yeah, I see. Like it says, like it
So
almost had like CRI in those block letters. So you can see the C going through the R,
Right.
you know,
So it says the most compact and useful radio. That's mirror imaged, isn't it?
that's cool. That's really
that's-
cool.
I'd have to find out. I'd have to find out if that logo exists anywhere else for these. International Radio Corporation. So it did have
Oh.
an I.
There we
and a
go.
C.
IRC.
That's it. Mystery
Sure.
solved.
So
Yeah.
that's it.
IBM presents. You made the call. Bravo. Well done, Howard. That would explain. Now we know what that stands for, because I was thinking, what could that be? Right. So yeah, so there's that RCA. It's a nice little radio. Oh yeah, I thought these were kind of neat. Transistor radio sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
There you go, guys. You know, they make Alexa now. Alexa, sunglasses that that you can get. So, and think of the Apple ones. Now you had the pre-high tech ones. I thought it was pretty fun.
Sandy.
Sorry.
Look and listen to the world.
I love the box, everything. I thought it was really wild. It was actually pretty
Everybody's
tempting.
going wild.
I was actually, honestly, I was kind of tempted, but I resisted. Because I mean, it even has like a case. I think that's a case.
Small enough.
And I thought, yeah, this is fun. See these intermittently. I forgot who made that.
That's an overseas model. It
Yeah.
looks like it has little Emerson clefs. I think they're just music symbols on the doors.
Yeah.
One of those on the radio attic right now. I think that's an import. It's just a fun radio, FM only.
Oh, it's FM only.
I think it
pick
looks
that.
up, you know, Windows.
Sorry.
I would purchase that radio in a heartbeat and set it right down in the middle of my 1950 Lionel train set.
Well, the funny thing is, Mark,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw it at the August meet when I was out there. So it wouldn't surprise me if I'm out there at another meet, I may still see it. So I should email you, say what's your upper bound, because they probably would fit in my luggage.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. It can't be more than a foot long, right?
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah. Yeah, that would go good with a Lionel train set right in the background.
There you go. It is pretty slick. But Paul said it. Paul, you said it's FM only.
I believe so.
Interesting. Is it? I mean, the current spectrum, that would probably make it like early 40s. I mean, I think it's the late 30s. It might have when the current spectrum showed up, or certainly after World War II, no later, because I have a 48 father with the proper spectrum. Interesting. It's an Emerson. Nice little set. Nice condition. Very attractive little set, actually.
That looks like it might be a reverse painted front. Anybody know?
Let me reverse. Let me go back. I'll go back there. Sorry. So you're saying what, Mark?
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like it's reverse painted, which is very nice, and the numbers don't fade. The numbers don't get scratched up. But I think that's a pretty set, just because of the that beautiful front end there.
Yeah, I love the sunburst style.
Sunburst.
Grill. Sunburst. That's the word I was thinking. Yes. Yeah, it's very, very attractive. Nice little set.
Hey, John, so I just found the listing. The Diner radio has been sold. It was sold on the Radio Attic. Interesting transistor radio, the Diner novelty set, manufactured in China, FM only set, powered by regular line cord. The windows light up when turned on.
Oh.
It is a very good sounding radio. The radio is in like new condition. You could leave it running for weeks at a time, and let's see, it was sold for $45.
$45.
Oh,
So
all
Mark,
day
is
long.
that
Mark
in your,
Fell, yes. I don't know.
that's in your price range, Mark?
Oh my God, yeah, all day long.
All right, well, we'll keep our eyes peeled.
Matter of fact, I have been forbidden from going on eBay for the last 2 months. However, I think I'm gonna go Google that radio and see if there's one for cheap on eBay.
That's a nice looking Emerson. They really had some sharp looking, dials and cases, and that, it's a simple 5 tuber, no doubt, but with the
Yeah.
handle is the little vent and all. That's a nice looking set.
Yeah, I completely
Wait,
agree. Like this, between the Ingram cabinets and then this, they were just nice little radios. It's such aesthetic, pleasing.
Is-
If the innards were on,
Need a
rather
gazillion.
pedestrian.
Is this the 5-tube circuit? I think you call it an All-American 5.
More than likely.
Yeah.
It's a generic schematic radios.
Well, in fact, I had already given it to Roger for the next, for the March show for the silent auction. I had a Emerson EB344 and one of Ingram cabinets here, the lunchbox style radios. So,
Oh yeah.
Such attractive radios. This one works perfectly. It's good to go. Restored the whole 9 yards. Cabinet really nice. So there were some really attractive radios. Here's the Zenith clock radio. Very 60s, early 70s look. Packard Bell. That's a left coast radio. California, I think, right?
Packard Bell, yep. That's a pretty simple one. Some of them are pretty cool. They used to call them stationized. They had the call letters, embossed into the dials.
Oh, right.
It looks like a little later vintage.
Yeah.
Case is in nice shape though.
Yeah, it is. Great condition. Another Zenith clock radio with a little more conventional dial here for the radio. Actually, it's kind of cool. Kind of like it.
Snooze
Right. Very, very basic, but even as you can see the nice little Zenith symbol there, because all these things fall off over time with glue lets go or whatever on many of these sets.
Hey, John, what does that say on the clock face? It says memory something.
Memory,
that?
yes,
Memory-
memory timer.
Memory timer. Okay.
So it must have So see this little switch here. It must, that's just a marketing term for, like, I guess probably it runs
Wait.
the radio for a period of time, turns it off.
Well, a lot of them was set up so that you could wake to, they had an ACL LED in the back, and you could set it so that in the morning it would turn on at 7 to start brewing your electric percolator.
Yeah, that's right. On your lamp or, yeah,
Got a snooze button too.
it does. It does. Nice memory. Oh, memory timer. So it's built in. So maybe, I wonder if you have to push this down, and whatever it does, it maybe based on the setting, whether you have alarm, you see auto, one day. I'm not sure what else these other modes do, or is it just these two? Just trying to decide, like, whether this has the ability to just play the radio and turns it off after a bit of time. But anyway, I kind of like this more than the other one. I like this kind of vintage style, simple.
Too bad they always discolor like that, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Certainly, if this was an Arizona radio, if it's anywhere near a window, it just got cooked. But it's in pretty good shape overall. Silver tone. Nice radio, nice condition. We have here. What's
There's
that?
a Montgomery Ward's airline.
Yeah, it is another MW. Yeah, that's nice.
Probably a 6-tube chassis. Wells Gardner made a lot of their radios.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are pretty good little players.
It's a nice, attractive little set. Not sort of a smallish, a large, small set, if you will, rather attractive in its own way. I liked it.
I like kind of the two-tone case.
Yeah, exactly. I like the inset and so forth, and the sort of the flat dial face. I think it's attractive, nicely designed. GE.
GE.
Nice little set. RCA Victor, another set in rather nice condition.
Those are nice sets. I mean, 6 tubes and it's AC/DC, but with a good antenna, you can have some fun with those.
Oh, that's good to know.
Boy, if that doesn't look like it's right out of the Jetsons. It looks like a robot.
Yeah, doesn't it? It's nicely, if it's restored, nicely restored. Cabinet looks nice. Nice little radio. What we have
GE.
here. Is that a GE? Yeah, I think it is.
General Electric, yeah.
It's certainly faded dial face on, I guess, over time. But actually a nifty little radio.
Dial face.
Sorry?
Never try to clean that dial face. They just come right off.
Yeah, it looks as though it happened and they stopped. They realized they're probably like cleaning on the left side, went, oops. Stop.
We've all found out the hard way, I think.
Oh, yes.
I like that. Even, I mean, the grill cloth I think is very nice with the mesh. I thought very, very tasteful, very, very elegant looking front. Yeah, unusual radio. Another RCA Victor.
The log cabin.
Yeah, very good looking radio. Nicely restored. Nice and tidy. I know what the prices were on these. I didn't see many price tags. I didn't ask. I was just banging out shots. Plus, I was trying
There's
to
a
make sure.
fellow from Arizona who sells on the Radio Attic. He's been there for an awful long time. His name is Mark Topo. And a lot of these sets you're showing, the last 3 or 4, look very much like stuff that's right in his wheelhouse.
Oh, okay. So maybe that's who it is.
He does cabinet work and a pretty fair restoration from what I hear as well.
I see. Well, judging from the cabinetry, it wouldn't surprise me if you're on the money there, Paul. Nice, clean restoration, very tidy. Maybe perhaps another one is a clear Sonic. United States television. Don't see these very often, at least I haven't.
Then there's a decal, it looks like, under the speaker. I can't make out what that says.
Oh, there we go.
NST Clairsonic. It's the redundancy label.
I guess so. Is that a U? Yeah, UST. Yeah, they're Sonic. Not first one I've seen, to be honest. Zero about them. But that was nifty and certainly worth a photo shot in case anyone knew anything about them. Oh, stash of GE clock radios. Big trio here. These two are pretty much identical, and this little guy below. So a different model, I guess, maybe older. It's a Magnum box, clearly late 60s, early 70s style clock radio. Who makes Cameo? I know nothing. Who's a
This is
Sorry?
so different. This is so different from when I was collecting radios, and so much newer, so much newer. We always had a slogan: the more brass and the better. And everything was Bakelite front panel. So it's just such a different but very interesting and very pleasing design that they brought out of the radio from the box.
Yeah, that's the fun thing. You just appreciate all the different approaches and design alone.
I wonder how that would have sold in 1923.
Right. a neat GE portable.
Nice and shiny.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, just aesthetically a nice.
Yeah, come around here.
Oops.
Well, those were actually very nice sounding portables, and
Cool.
they, I have one in the basement. Many of them have the knobs that go missing. They have great tone, great sound, great reception. You get that little button on the left that lights up the dial. The one problem is that the chrome grill is chrome and heavy. So if you're not strong, yeah, you can carry this around and listen to it. But if you're going to walk any distance, it's not liked at all.
You get a good workout, huh, Howard?
It's, I mean, portable, I guess, takes on a new meaning in today's age. That's all.
No,
It has a handle.
Yeah,
It has a handle. That's
Yeah,
right.
that leather is leather, real leather for a reason.
yeah. No, I have, I have some of these, for example, some of the mid-50s German portables, and the thing has got to weigh about 3 to 5 pounds easily. And so you start, hauling that around, you start feeling it after a while. It's like, this thing is, but that was a portable back then. Oh, this was interesting. See, actually, I think it's actually 31 Westinghouse.
Wow.
Column Air.
Yeah.
I thought that was really neat and really in terrific condition too.
Crossley made a radio quite similar to that, Crossley radio.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I had a chance to buy one, and the wife put her foot down so hard, I think it went through the floor.
This one, I mean, this is certainly unusual. I thought the price was pretty reasonable. I thought, assuming it works, given the cosmetically, I assumed it was fully restored. But what a neat radio! That was fun. And here was sort of just this was the donation table, which I think is what, Rob, you would have seen as auctioned off. They auction all these things off. So I just took a pan out shot. And
It's right at the end of the meet.
yes, exactly. I don't stay long enough to the meets are held at a church in Phoenix where they hold it, and they have both inside as well as plenty of outdoor parking. So
They run things a lot different, and I'm not saying it's better because I don't think it is. I don't know how they control this on the outside one, but on the inside, it's really members only. You pay your dues, it's like $20, and then you can go in. So there's like really no public there unless the public wants to pay $20 to join the club. But then on the flip side, if you remember, you go in, there's donuts and coffee and soda.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime, they bring in Subway sandwiches because, they're collecting all this money. But
yeah,
I kind of like the way Nevik does it so much better, because you get more interest with the public.
yeah,
If, like after 10 is free. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of people that way, especially audiophiles. So it's very different. I mean, they just do things different. I think Nevik does it a lot better, but that's my opinion. Maybe other people see it the other way.
yeah. No, I mean, with that, as we've all discussed a number of times, is it's hard to inject new blood. So every opportunity to get public exposure, it's all the better for trying to keep the club going along.
So.
The funny thing is, when I walked in, now I've been a paid member, but I walked in there at other people at the gate isn't the main way in. It's off to the side. So I walked in and didn't even know to check whether I had to give any money, because even on this outdoor event, there was no one collecting anything. I just showed up, parked the car, and walked. But I knew, of course, as a paid member, so I didn't have to think about it. I didn't go up to the table at all. And no one flagged me down, but it was easy to say, hey, I'm a paid member, here's my name. So it would have been zero trouble. But it isn't as formal like we have everything falls in through Janine.
This one at the church had that. They had a door. They had a table right at the door, and you couldn't walk by.
Well, it's funny. I walked in, there were people there, and I didn't wait. I said, well, I'm a paid member. I didn't even actually sign in.
I
That's
see a
funny.
radio direction finder back there.
Yeah.
I had one of those years and years ago, and I sold it, and I wish I had. It's one of those.
Well,
I'm sure
gosh,
they'll-
I guess
they'll
I should have,
find us.
yeah, there's some neat stuff there. Well, I guess I better be more formal about it, even though, because I guess maybe I'm a club scofflaw.
I have no idea. I mean, just a complete rookie. I just walked in thinking, I don't know, what's going on. But it was good to go to a show.
Well,
Yeah, the Ham Exposition used to be just called Boxborough, and it is a good show. I'm pining to go there too, but not going to happen.
right. This here, I think I did take a few shots of interesting things that were being given. I think we're in the pile of stuff to be auctioned off, whether or not this works or not. It's an air castle. But that was kind of interesting.
Was that Spiegel catalog branded?
Oh, that's a good question.
Say late 40s.
Yeah, I would say so. Sorry about the picture, but it was like, it's tough taking it into the sun. Halicrafters. Nice condition. Let's see. I can't see a price. The sun is kind of obscuring it. There's a guy, I don't know his name, but he was selling it. He's a guy that also sells a lot of these little mini radios. He also had some neat vintage electronic goodies that I took some shots. I'm not sure if it's in this deck or in the more recent August deck. Oh, these were fun. I had better shots of the later one. This is perhaps more for like David Spivey, these radio-related games. I had better shots of these from a different deck because I was able to get it from top. But this guy was selling some of these, mystifying educational games. That was kind of fun.
Uncle Sam's Savings. John, could you zoom in on that one that says questionnaire?
Oh, right, sure.
So if you look down, durable toy and novelty
Okay.
manufactured.
4th Avenue, New York, manufacturer of Uncle Sam's Savings, Banks, and Cash Store Registers.
Interesting. A mystifying education.
Mystifying. I liked it.
That's cool.
I have some better shots. Maybe if we have, depending on how much time we have, I'm able to get them. A Majestic. Here we go. A Master Antenna. Photo.
Get your insulators and
Yeah.
ready to go. Scientific noise reduction technology.
That's
So we
right.
have scientific and we have mystifying. We're doing good here.
Well,
I'm not sure what that transformer in the upper left with all the steel is doing in an antenna kit. What do you think that is? An early matching transformer?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
Claims to have some type of dealing with interference. I wonder what kind of a gadget that is.
Yeah, unless unless it was some sort of snake oil.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what a frame transformer is doing. It looks like it's for the AM bands. I don't think there was any mention of shortwave, was there? And then there's an interesting can on the right. That's a radio frequency, like a Balun coil. Matter of fact, that's what that is. That's a Balun.
Yeah, it's actually connected to the wire there.
Yeah,
That's part of the kit. Yeah,
ham radio guys enjoy this stuff.
Maybe the transformers in there if it was modified to a home electrocution kit.
there you go.
Hold these two ends while I connect this.
There you go. They give you a free stick for the put in your mouth. Yeah, so you put one of these in your mouth. I think it's an Olympic. It's a
Olympic, yeah.
neat looking radio. Nice.
There was a sister radio to that. I don't know if they were all made by Olympic, called Our Tone, but they had that sort of slanted dial there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I liked it. Zenith.
Zenith.
Console tone.
Sounds just like a console.
I guess
For
so.
100 pounds.
I look at a great presentation like this and the others, and I just can't believe how many designs since, let's say, 1920, how many designs of radios is it in the hundreds of thousands? Sure looks like it.
Hmm.
Just look at Emerson. I mean, how many of those little sets and different looking sets?
Oh, I
Did
know.
I hear did I hear they use the same 5-tube chassis for several different
A
radios?
lot of them were, yeah, it was I mean, they're the company that came out in the 30s real strong when hard times were really coming on and somebody wanted an economical radio. And they had it down to make a small, there's probably not the best sounding compared to your Zeniths and Philcos and RCAs, but for $9.95, a few cents a week, it got you Charlie McCarthy and Edgar Bergen.
Yeah. Cool. It's a Murdoch Radio Company in Chelsea, Massachusetts. Speaker.
Interesting.
3.5-inch quality speaker from the 1940s. Look at that. It's terrific. No less. I did not know there was a Murdoch Radio Company in Chelsea, Massachusetts. That's cool. RCA. Nice looking radio. I like the embossing in the
The
cabinet.
same chassis as that wooden one. It's got the same knobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Little
Yep.
5-tuber.
This is. Who makes this?
Hmm.
Wait.
I don't know.
there
You
we go.
had a decal on there somewhere that got worn off. I can't really tell you.
Something. Oh no, it's made in USA. Okay, I was hoping you would give us a hint. I don't know what this is.
That's either another Air King or it could be a Stuart Warner. I've seen that cabinet somewhere. I want to say either Air King or Stuart Warner, but I can't remember.
Thanks, Howard. That's more than we're coming up with. So, just you're right. This is kind of interesting.
It's the General Television piano.
Yes, yes. Oh, how interesting!
Very
First
cool.
one, yeah, the first novelty radio of this type I've ever seen.
It's a nice shape.
Oh, yeah, it's in really nice shape. Here we go. Here's another Montgomery Ward. Yes, it is. It's an early one. Battery set.
That's my cup of tea.
There you go. That's got Mark Best written all over it.
With batteries.
Batteries are included too.
Wow, look at that.
True City Radio Electric Supply Company.
All you need is one tube for a radio. All that rest of the stuff is just extra.
That's right. Just an extra weight. It's pretty nifty looking. Well worth some photos of.
That's an early set. That's teens. What, mid to late teens?
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Mark. That's good to know. This was real. I think it's asking 70, 75. Certainly unique.
I'd take it home.
There you go. Here's a look down into the guts. There you go. There's your single tube, maybe.
Yep, single tube. It's probably a regen. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it's a regen.
You're probably right.
In this, the most recent Raven, Mark, there's a little Crossley pup that you've got 3 Cincinnati Reds listening to. There was a neat photo. It'd be right up your alley.
Oh yeah, I cross the cup and I love it. And it's one of my better performing single tube sets. I actually did an essay. I might have sent it to the club years and years ago on single tube receivers from the teens and 20s.
Oh, okay. The Gulf West is, so you said you submitted some earlier version, Raven, or before it was called Raven?
I didn't get to. We're breaking up a little bit, but one of the things that surprised me is how disorganized it looks inside. But that may be just the batteries.
Yeah, it was kind of certainly an interesting set. No, I took a close up even as they didn't have to take that close up, but they did because I thought it was nice to see.
I'd love to find the catalog listing for that in one of those old Montgomery Ward catalogs.
Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Guaranteed.
The deck antenna, and it must have on the front panel. Must be an antenna terminal, brass terminal on the front panel.
Yeah, I think there is. Well, let's I can reverse back. Let's see. You can spot.
Oh yeah, top left.
Yep.
And ground is the. Oh wait a minute, we have the headphones are in the 1/4-inch jack. That's where your headphones go. Ready? Go a little bit left, and there's a nice brass photo 1/4-inch audio plug. So antenna, ground, and audio. What a simple radio.
Yeah.
That's like the Crossleys I have. That's very much like the Crossleys. The only thing I don't see is a regen dial. So, no, I don't see a regen dial. I see the tuning dial. Maybe it's just a tuned regen. Usually there's an inductance.
I don't know.
Can't give it much as a looker though. I think the modern radios, obviously they have much more appeal to them.
Sure, but it's still a neat piece of technology. Moving up, newer in this. Not sure what we have here. What do we have here?
Coronado.
Coronado, there we go.
Gamble Skogmo stores.
Now, is that a West Coast radio, the Coronados?
They were private label for, I believe the name of the stores was Gamble Skogmo. Kind of rolls off your tongue, huh?
Yeah, I know. It's not exactly, yeah.
Not quite sure who made them. Kind of looks like a silver tone,
I was thinking I was going to call it a silver tone, so that's funny you mentioned that. We have to dig deep to find the Coronado there.
Manufacturers.
Neat radio. Nice, generally in nice shape, nice condition. Certainly more than restorable, cosmetically at least.
Sometimes those taller sets, was that size base. They had a battery shelf in the back and all, so maybe that was an old phone set.
Maybe. Philco.
Rebecca, WOR.
Yeah, I was going to say this is definitely a
somebody brought it out.
Coast radio that someone brought out.
WIP. What the heck is that? Whip.
Yeah, good question. Oh,
Missing.
thank you, Len. I couldn't catch that until now about Murdoch. Since 1896. Anyone catch that in the chat window? But thanks for that tidbit there, Len.
Yeah, they made a lot of 20 sets and headphones, and
it's funny you don't see. It's funny how I the first time I've seen a Murdoch, you don't see them at all.
And you had to go to Arizona.
Yeah, I know. How about that? I had to go, 2,500 miles away to see
Couldn't
one.
find one in Chelsea.
Guess not. Oh, oh, sorry. I appreciate, I think I did, occasionally I take duplicate photos. This is the same one we saw earlier of the Montgomery Ward. Okay, this is not,
RCA there.
yeah,
Those have a very attractive dial when they light. They're not bad little sets. Very
oh, is that
cool.
right? They
Tiny.
fully light the entire dial.
Yep.
Yeah, it's attractive. Yeah.
And having that oversized tuning dial kind of helps you, when you're trying to
Yeah.
pick out a station.
Yeah, I like it. Nice looking. This one looked to be in reasonable condition. A little bit dusty, but easily cleanable. Another Motorola. Yeah. One of those. Yeah, they had a bunch of those. I guess one of the vendors here must be heavily into them.
Some guy from Chicago.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. I'll tell you, there's a lot of transplants from the Midwest in that area.
Is that a handle on top or is that a wave antenna of some kind?
I think it does duty as
Both.
both.
I think it is. Yeah.
It is both. On that one though, it doesn't rotate. I think the radio,
Okay.
at least the very first ones didn't rotate.
Actually, I think that on that Motorola, I think it actually does.
Yeah, there's a long ferrite bar. That's the antenna that goes along the handle. And I
Okay.
wonder if wrapping your hand around it to pick it up affects the reception.
Maybe.
Well, for $10, take it home and find out.
There you go. This one looks to maybe has some problems. It's $10. Some sort of hum
Alright,
chassis
those
mounting.
One, that case is pretty good.
Yeah, it's in pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
cosmetically, it looks to be in pretty decent shape.
Yeah, it would clean up pretty nice.
I agree.
Probably
love
don't
a
get
red-
much mold and mildew out in Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. So here's not sure what this is. Anyone know?
Four tube battery set. I think that's called a coat pocket radio.
Oh.
Huh.
Who made this? Any clue?
I do not. Everybody made them.
I thought it
Coat
was
pocket
Steve.
radios didn't last long after the transistor radio. Transistor radio, the small pocket version, really took off and replaced these.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of neat. I mean, obviously needs a bit of cleanup, but but it looks, everything looks
Line that up,
better.
it'll look great.
I think it's a silicone. Is it not? Yes.
Those are very desirable.
Yeah, it's a nice looking radio. I love the woodwork and all. Very attractive, very deco.
The
Screen.
Yeah,
escutcheon
Art
on it is
Deco.
pretty good too. That tenite or whatever it is, it's not all warped up.
Love the sort of the
Nice
Cameras.
knobs.
this is just something. Yeah, lovely radio. In terms of aesthetics, tuning eye, whole 9 yards. Very attractive. There's a little Emerson. Missing a knob, though. And cracked, so it's seen better days.
Plug looks good though. I mean, that's something you could probably burn your house down with.
Right. That's the goal. If nothing else. And it's red, for fire engine.
That's right, fire engine. Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried to mold your own knobs for, if you got a radio and you're missing a knob, you can get this silicon molding stuff in Hobby Lobby. It's a
Yeah.
2-part silicon, and you just take the knob, if you have one of the originals, and you put it in a little cup or something, and you just pour this silicon in, all mixed up, and leave it sit for a few hours, and you got a mold. So you can then just take and pour some epoxy or fiberglass into this mold, and you can make your replacement knobs.
Interesting.
Interesting. No, I've not heard of this.
Yeah, I do it quite a bit with a lot of radios and even pots. I mean, Sometimes I've done it with coil forms that I've had to duplicate, things like that.
3D
Even
printers.
what I also did was, you know, in the SX28s, you know, they have those slugs that go into the coils and they get all beat up. I don't know if any of you ever worked on any of those, but I've actually taken and molded those slugs. They're threaded. I made a mold for them. And then what I would do is I would take a regular hex slug and put it in the mold and pour some epoxy around it and pop the whole thing out later, clean it up. And now I have a replacement ferrite, piece of ferrite that I can screw in and out of the coil.
Interesting. Hey, Rob, this is your first meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
well, welcome. Those
Thanks,
who know,
Steve.
Rob was one who did those terrific Atwater Kent that was in the Springbrook line, right?
Right. Yep. Yeah, I kind of showed up and took away all the prizes.
Yeah, that's right, but that's all right. They were beautiful.
I
radios.
apologize for that.
Hey, you know, it's beautiful, yeah, did beautiful work. So, yeah, no, in fact, we'll have to give you a show and give us a show and tell when you've got some time.
Yeah, well, I'll have to give that some thought. I'll think about it. And see.
Yeah, of course. No pressure here, but
Yeah.
You did terrific work. But let's see, what do we got here? Get really close here. A freshman masterpiece.
Hmm.
I don't know anything about this.
Freshman and cadet radio, Howard.
It's got a nice little airplane dial.
The freshman masterpiece, actually, that's a fairly old name. I have two freshman masterpiece, 3-tube tuned radio reflex, 3 dialers. And they're both freshman masterpiece. And I have to know if it's the same company. I got to look that up.
I would say that's the same logo that you see there. However, what I would say this is like a Jackson Bell or something of that nature
Could be.
with just the logo on that. And I've seen this before. It could have been a leftover. I question whether or not this is the same company or if they just use the logo. The logo looks exactly like the kind of the gold leaf logo on the freshman masterpiece. I mean, I had a freshman masterpiece 5-tube set, but very interesting nonetheless.
Hmm.
Yeah, that logo hasn't changed.
Yeah, not seen very often. Well worth the shot. Oh, took a close up, but we already saw that. Oh, here's a neat little GE portable. Nice case.
What's
Check
up with
out
the
the-
rifle?
Yeah, check out the rifle. What's
Cool.
that all about?
See now, it's called the
Sport Mate.
Sport Mate. And you are in the Wild West here, guys. So
Hey, it's pocket radio. It makes perfect sense. Hunters have coats and pockets.
yeah. I guess you take it out when you're hunting for rattlesnakes or whatnot out there. Yeah, it's nice. I thought it was neat. It's certainly unusual. It's like in terrific condition. Another Motorola. Might have been the same one. I apologize because I might have taken. Sometimes you forget. Especially probably a little bit decaffeinated.
Now you can see on that one there how the handle is rotated slightly.
Yeah. Yes.
So the whole handle rotates. Unlike I got this. This is an Admiral, and only this part here rotates, not the whole thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, they came out, I'm sure, with all iterations.
Yeah.
What's really sad, I don't know what's going on. I think everything that Charles Perkett had is gone, but he had a shelf just of this style radio, and it may have been the Motorola's, but he had every color. He must have had 8 of the same model in every different color that it came in. I don't know what happened to those, if they're gone or what, but it was quite impressive.
I have 5 or 6 iterations of that radio, including it's sitting right next to me. One of the earliest that has the Motorola transistors, and they originally that was a tube radio, like a 4-tube radio, but they changed it over to transistors, and the spacing was absolutely wonderful. I think they still had to have the case the same size, but they're some of the earliest transistors that I have in my collection, and I love them because they're metal, they're heavy, and they didn't get broke. Well, that one did. It's got a crack in the middle.
You know, back in the 60s, in the early 60s, when I was going to school, I worked in a TV shop for about 3 years, TV radio shop. And when I first started there, that's all I worked on for about a year was radios. I mean, boy, I'll tell you, I used to work on more of these radios than every day. There would be 10 or 15 of them to fix.
Wow.
How old were you?
Probably 16, 17.
I did the same thing with a local TV radio guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Change out parts. I could change out a multi-lead transformer and not screw it up somehow by miracle.
Mhm.
Changed a lot of parts in television sets.
Yeah, you know what else I had to work on too was the turntables. Oh, those used to drive me nuts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Wow.
Brings
I
back
learned some
memories,
new
huh, Ron?
words when I worked on those.
Hey, guys, this is another early set for you there, Mark.
So I'm on this. I have 2 of these radios. It is a
Radiola 60.
60 and a Radiola for, I don't know if this one has it, but they put all their condensers and resistors in a sealed tub of asphalt or
Mhm.
tar. And
Yep.
sure looks to me like this would be one of those radios. But look at that tube count in that thing. And you end up with one tuning dial, which is amazing. This is a crossover radio. It's when single dialers were coming in, where all you have to do is tune the main dial in front, your volume off and on, and maybe a tone control. But and this would run a external horn speaker. You can see there's no provision for a speaker. And also the transformers inside are indicative. Oh no, that might be a battery. I'm sorry. That might be a battery I see in the corner. But a very high tube count, and I'm sure it was a wonderful radio. As a matter of fact, I've been told it's a very good performing radio. Very few double stations, stuff like that. They had all that cleaned up by then.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. There we go. I did get it. Meant to get a
There it is.
top down look. I don't think I see the
Yeah, that capacitor was a right angle drive.
oh, yeah.
It's a tub capacitor, air capacitor,
Mhm.
and they managed to see those the 3 allotments of plates. Well, actually, in the radios before that, those were always coupled with a tube and a dial, so that you're looking at the essence of a 3 dialer that is shrunk down into a single row of capacitor plates. Kind of monumental.
Yeah, it was certainly an interesting radio.
I have the escutcheon for that if anybody needs it.
Very good. I think it's a Crosley, if memory serves. Yep. Someone's asking, this must be a rather uncommon one. They're asking quite a hefty price here. Take a look at all the work on this. Remarkable. Asking $750.
Wow. How do they do that?
I know. I was
That's
thinking about that. What's that?
Yeah, this is called presswood.
Yeah,
And,
Presswood.
from what I understand, you kind of fill a die in a plate with wood mush, and it compacts it into the molds that you see.
Yeah, it's really, that's one of the first ones I've ever seen.
I've never seen one. This is the first I've seen.
Yeah, I never seen one of those either.
I love the insignia, the insignia in the center. That was carried forward with so many of its products. The shield.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is beautifully done. I mean, I can see why it's commanding, and maybe it's a probably a very rare radio. But certainly photo worthy. I wanted to make sure I got a shot of it. I said, wow, now this is unusual. I mean, look at even the woodwork at the bottom with the speaker and all. Beautifully done. Well, it's very ornate.
I'd put that in the museum.
Yeah, no, this is kind of deserves to be in a museum. Beautiful radio. Something a little less aesthetically pleasing, but true tone. Nice enough looking radio.
John, can you zoom in on that logo? Oh, Ward's Airline. I got you.
Thank you. I was wondering, I was just about to do that. I was going to ask, like, what Ward's Airline? Of course, Montgomery Ward, and I didn't realize they had all the different variations. Yeah, W and WA.
I could be wrong about that, but I mean, True Tone and, Wells Gardner. Well, I could be wrong about that, John. I'm not sure now.
But it's one I don't see very often. I thought that was.
Oh, okay. I got it. Hold on. Western Auto. True Tone was sold at Western Auto stores.
Oh, is that right? I did not know that.
Yeah, Western Auto sold a lot of True Tones.
I never went to enough Western Autos to realize that. Good tidbit. Good catch there, Howard. That's kind of a neat radio.
It's cool.
Here's a Fillmore radio crystal set. It's a super radio crystal set, in case you were unsure.
I have that set and it worked quite well. You just got to be light so you don't ruin the coil, the surface of the coil. But you can only have a light pressure. But I have this, and it works.
I thought it was a pretty nifty little set there. RCA behind it here, the radiola, right? 3A.
It's a radio 3A, and I have several of those. And again, the reason I have several is because there were just so many of these. They were just so popular. They came in a 1-tube, 4-tube arrangement. Each one obviously had more stages and was louder. But they even came out with a crystal set that looks just like what you see in front of you there with the black Bakelite, only it didn't have a tube. Instead it had a crystal capsule on top of it. So very, very popular model.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of those.
Oh yeah. I have 4 or 5, I think. I've lost count.
They must have made them by the thousands.
By the hundreds of thousands, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've seen ads actually towards the end of that era where there were hundreds of these stacked out on the sidewalk, and they were trying to push them out the door for $10.
Interesting.
I was reading an article one time where they said that in just before the 20s up through maybe the 30s, before the Depression, there was thousands of radio companies in the United States. And they said everybody was making radios.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
And
the super heterodyne patent killed them all.
That's right. Exactly. Yep.
That's a good
And
point.
when RCA got control of that market, I mean, if you didn't have an RCA license, they came after you.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I just pulled some of those magazines. I just noticed Radiocraft. I have those books.
Right.
Right in
Yep.
the barn, right now, they all free file, and I snagged them back. Love the old radio magazine.
Yeah, they were great. Yep. How
Lots
about
of-
the old Gernsback books too?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Another famous radio person legend.
Yeah. So helicopters here. Oh, here's another. What do we got here?
Oh, you gotta make down below. And all right.
Because of the P.
It begins with a P and
Ends with an N.
ends with an N. God, I can't think of a radio manufacturer that has that. Dialer, like I was saying earlier, you always had three coils, 3 tubes, and
Yep.
3
3-dial radio.
air capacitors.
Yep.
Each one making up a unit on the radio.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody trying to fiddle with all those. It's like fiddling with a combination lock, and you don't know the combination.
And you just
I think
spend
that
a lot
might
of
be a
time twiddling
Paragon.
dials.
Oh, Paragon, good man, good
Yeah.
man. I
Good
have
call.
that radio. I recognize the trim down each side of the end pieces. Very simple radio, but at least it had, at least it was a 5-tuber. That has a lot of gain.
Yeah, those. For now.
A Zenith telephone dial.
Who knows?
Very nice. For now, teledial.
Wouldn't mind the teledial in the museum either. I had one that had the the telephone dial type tuning, and geez, I let it go, but it was in rough condition.
This one's a pretty reasonable shape. Really, minor cosmetic issues, but radio. Yeah. Some modern solid state. I had felt obligated I should take a photo of someone selling stuff here. It's Radio Shack's realistic. Yeah, gotta always get a little bit of. So they do have solid state that they do sell, but the percentage is lower than what you see with Dynamic. Yeah, Technics.
That looks like an all-in-one.
Yeah.
Auto,
It's just-
auto reverse even.
Yeah,
Yes,
AM,
yes.
FM cassette.
This is probably, 80s, I would say, sometime in the 80s.
It's
Yeah,
a great
I believe it.
design. I mean, they laid it out very nicely.
Yeah,
It almost looks like a piece of test equipment.
yeah, it doesn't.
that-
I'm not sure what they were asking for. $30. If the cassette that works, that's a real bonus. Oh yeah, there's a guy there that restores the old Edison, and they were playing. I have a video. He's playing original, the original spools. It was great playing the stuff that's like from the 20s. It was a lot of fun. Specialized in the restoration.
So what do? You put a disc on that and it's a song and then you just turn
Yeah,
the handle
you see
and
it's
play?
playing. Yeah, you pull it up. It was playing it. You can see
Uh-huh.
this goes right across.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one song, I think it's basically a one song, maybe 2 tops. Doesn't go on very long. That's right. But it sounded great.
Did you know that RCA never wanted to give Edison a license to build radios in the United States?
Oh, really?
If you go to Canada, you'll see Edison radios everywhere because Edison, he manufactured radios, but he made them in Canada.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we're almost wrapped up here. There's like a handful of pictures. There was a guy that did a lot of these little mini sets, little mini tube sets. I thought it was just worth catching some of this. Tiny Tim Jr. stuff you don't see all that often. I think these 50 little tiny sets.
I have the Beetle version of that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, actually,
Let's go see Howard.
Yeah, I believe, well, if you, this one's got a slight difference in where the tuning is, but if you look at the cabinet itself,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of out of the same mold.
Oh, yeah.
For a 4-tube set, this is a beautiful little radio. It really is.
Oh, yeah. That's terrific.
I would have gotten that one just to sit side by side with it.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Here's an airline. I don't, the color doesn't look right to me. This is the, I doubt it's the original color, unless they had such a vivid blue, but still kind of neat. These tiny little radios. This looks correct. This little Zephyr. A little set.
Uh-huh.
Arvin.
My cousin, this radio, this exact radio, I was probably 9, 10 years old, and I couldn't take it apart fast enough.
That's the same chassis that the Hopalong Cassidy radio uses.
Oh, good to know. Interesting.
Little 4-tube.
Hopalong Cassidy radio. Wow.
Not a Motorola, I think.
What's the
Oh,
name of that?
Arvin. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
the
it looked like a knobbin.
look at this. This is
Arvin.
metal dial face, and you just dial it in.
I like the white chicken head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. The pointer, it's that's a good analogy, chicken head.
Mhm.
That's pretty nifty. Yeah, then clock radio. Not even sure who makes this one, frankly.
RCA.
Oh, is it? Good catch. Thank you. Oh, there it is. I couldn't find it. Couldn't find it on the label. There it is, right in front of me. RCA. The little radio. Ah, that is the Trolla. The Trolla Junior. All these little radios, little 4-tubers, all. There's a nice little cabinet. Actually, packed a little radio for the size. Motorola. Oh, that's a repeat photo. Sorry, guys.
That Motorola looks just like the radios they put in communication situations, like fire, police, you know, high-end communicate. It's just got that look.
Yeah.
Motorola sticker wasn't there. I'd say that's a Motorola radio.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's fair.
My uncle was a volunteer fireman, and he had one of those radios in his house. It was always on, and when there was a fire, that thing would sound off.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
Yeah, we're almost done, guys. I'll just bang up the last one of these, and we'll just. There's a repeat anyway. It's a midget Silvertone. Full tags and working. 50 little radio. This guy.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry?
I love it when a seller puts details right out on the tag like that. It just makes me want to buy the radio.
Yeah, this guy is always very good about that. All his items. It's not a little Silvertone. Traveler, right? Nice little raise. I love these little these four tuber little guys. Another traveler. Ah, little,
That's cool.
that
I'm looking for one of those that doesn't cost $500.
I don't know what this guy was asking. I should have checked, but I didn't have the presence of mind to confirm. I think this is it. An Aviola. Aviola?
Viola.
And that, my friends, was the last photo. So thanks,
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
Thanks,
very
Frank.
good. Thank you,
Thanks, Frank.
John.
That was fun. You get to see some stuff that we don't often, little
Yeah.
things like those miniature radios. But guys, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for all the great presentations.
Thanks for doing it.
And we'll be. Oh, by the way, one minor announcement I didn't mention is the next meeting will be 3 weeks away instead of September 1st, because that way we stay away from the long holiday. Plus, try to avoid 3 meetings in a month. So we'll ship
Yeah.
1 week, and we'll go September 8th will be the next one, and we'll figure out what the agenda will be. Volunteers are always welcome, but I know we can get Tom for a little bit of Friedrichshafen, if nothing else. But we'll figure that out. At any rate, and I wish you guys a great weekend, and we'll be talking over the club reflector.
Okay, thank you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
Good to see everybody.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, everybody.